So today I'm going to be upscaling this image in Topaz Gigapixel. So I created this in Flux AI, so it's a high quality image, but the resolution is fairly modest. If we just have a look at the dimensions of the image, you can see it's just 1216 by 832. So we're definitely going to need to give that an upscale for a lot more use and a lot more flexibility. So I'm going to go to the File menu in Photoshop, and I'm going to go to Automate, and we're going to go to Topaz Gigapixel AI. Now, if you haven't got Photoshop or you don't want to use it as a plugin within Photoshop, then just run the Gigapixel AI app separately, and then all these instructions will be the same. All these settings will be exactly the same. So I've got this defaulted to not upscale at all and sort of have all the settings zeroed just for the purpose of these videos. So what I've got here is 100% pixel size view, as you saw in Photoshop. I'm just going to zoom in a bit here. So we're not upscaled anything yet. This is just looking at the original image, but kind of zoomed in. Now, what we want to look at is if I click and hold the mouse and just drag this around, if you look at the whiskers, look around the whiskers, and you see there's like compression artifacts. That's from Flux. That's from the AI image. It's probably been saved as a not a full quality file. So we've got a few little things like that to bear in mind. So I'm going to put it back to 100%. Now I'm going to choose the scale that I want to upscale to, the scale factor. So I'm going to put 4 times, which I think is a really good all-round upscaling size from something like this. If you don't know what you're going to do with it, but you know you want to have a high-quality, large version sort of saved in files in your documents, then I would just go for a 4 times. It's big enough to suit pretty much all normal uses. And for the AI model, I'm going to go with high fidelity V2, and the reason is, in my experience, it offers better separation of little fine details like fur, hair, fibers, things like that. So on an image of an animal or something with a lot of fine texture and hair, I find that high fidelity V2 is a really good one to use. Now you're going to see some strangeness going on around the whiskers. And if you could see where those artifacts, where those compression artifacts, it's kind of got rid of a lot of those, but in the process it's left a few little bits which we're going to look at getting rid of in a second. So I'm just going to have a quick look around and make sure that overall I'm happy. Again, look at all the compression artifacts around these water droplets. We're going to address those in a minute. So in fact, let's just get a bit of the view where we can see both some of the whiskers and around some of the water drops, because that's where the only real problems lie in the image. So I could be tempted to use very compressed or low resolution on this, but instead I'm going to keep it on high fidelity for the benefit of the whole of the image. But I'm going to go down to this here, and I'm going to start with the fixed compression slider. So I'm going to drag this up. And so what this is going to do, it gives it a few seconds to work out. What this is going to do is it's actually going to try and fix the compression artifacts before it's processed by these other things. So it's not working on the image after it's had that AI model upscale applied. It's working on the image beforehand, and then it's sort of trying to clean the file up beforehand. So you don't want to go higher than you need to, and you don't want to use it on an image that doesn't have any obvious compression artifacts, because it will rob the image of some fine details. I mean, that's much better to me. Let's go back up to the whiskers and have a look when it updates. Got to give it a few seconds to update the preview once you click, and that's cleaned the whiskers up really nice. So let's just look at the other couple of settings that are available to us. Denoise, I don't want to do that because the image has got no real grain anyway. And if it did, we'd probably want to preserve it, unless it was excessive, which on an AI generated image like this it wouldn't be. And deblur is like a sharpen. Now, sort of sharpen. I'm going to put this up a little bit with things with fur, but because this image was such good quality anyway from Flux AI with all the little hair separations, the upscale process itself and the AI model of the upscale has actually done a lot to make the image nice and sharp. So we really want to watch out we don't adjust this too high and start introducing some artifacts on the edge and over sharpened areas and things like that. Additional settings, I'm not going to touch these because they're not applicable to this image. I'm going to click Save to Photoshop now and just have a look in context within Photoshop so we can just remind ourselves of what the before and after look like. So there we go. It's given us now the high resolution, sort of large image, nice and sharp, all the compression artifacts kind of sorted. And if we just look at the image size here, just to double check the dimensions, we've got 4864 by 3328 now. So that's a nice large image. And if I just turn this layer off, you'll see what it's done is it's put the Gigapixel Upscale on the top. But if I turn it off, that's what the image underneath is, the image as if it would just increase the size in Photoshop. So on the original layer, it's what it would look like if you just loaded the image into Photoshop, gone image size, and just typed in the new size instead of going through Topaz. So you can see it's quite a shocking difference in detail. There's tons of fuzziness. Everything's blurry, obviously, because it's a low-res image to start with. And so I think that's really helped, and it's really crispened up the edges around all these water droplets. It's sort of really enhanced those, actually. So this is the benefit of using something like Topaz. It gives you a very true upscale, as in it's not like one of the other upscalers like Magnific, which I also use, and it's fantastic, but those other upscalers hallucinate new details and things like that. So I always use Topaz if I've got an image that I'm happy with and I just want it to be larger and slightly enhanced quality, because it will give you a slightly enhanced look on the crispness and just the definition of the textures.